This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Like it or not, damn it. We were just talking off the air about some stuff that have happened. I was talking about living in New York, and I love New York. Look, I like pretty much everywhere I've ever been, some places more than others. But there's something good about every city I've ever been in,
Yeah, I think that can ring true for most places where you can appreciate at least something about it.
Yeah, every city I feel like has that one thing that you leave there being like, maybe the food wasn't the best, and maybe the transportation wasn't the cleanest, but boy, the sights were fun or something like that. There's at least something to take away.
One of my favorites of all time, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I used to go over there to do Miller beer commercials. First time I ever went, we're driving down the road, and there's the Performing Arts Center, and right next to it, and literally right next to the Performing Arts Center, is a strip club called Arts Performing Center. No, I don't know if it's still there or not, but I went, I love Milwaukee already, just because of that. We're talking about a quick story about people. Devin was telling a story about a guy who was working at a restaurant. And he wanted to sue the restaurant because the one tooth he had left in his head, he cracked or something.
Allegedly, yes. He thought he
Allegedly.
his tooth on a chicken wing and then swallowed it. And I came in here missing all those teeth.
So we're talking about mistakes made in restaurants. My biggest one of all time, once again in New York City, I'm at the New York Club restaurant. I don't even know if that's still around. That was many, many years ago. But I'm sitting there. And there's a guy at the next table, and he's got not one, not two, but 3 napkins shoved down the collar of his shirt. So he's literally napkin from his left shoulder to his right shoulder. And he's shoveling it in with both hands, making noise, smacking his lips, and it's really nasty. So I look over the guy and go, Jesus Christ, why don't you calm down? All of a sudden, the host runs over to me, didn't walk. He ran over to me and said, Mr. Barnard? I said, yes, sir. He goes, please be kinder to our guests. And he leans over and whispers in my ear, that's Manny the horse. He's in the mafia. I wouldn't do that again. I went, this isn't like Minneapolis at all. God.
Oh.
First thing I do is insult the guy in the mafia. I guess Manny the horse is you could look him up. He's a very well-known mafia figure. Manny the horse. I can't remember his last name. Zabella or something like that.
I don't want to talk shit about a mob member, but Manny the horse is a terrible name.
Well, it's because he was so big. He was built like a horse.
And I guess is it Manny the headless man horse?
No, I think I've got Matthew Iannello.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Iannello. There you go. Iannello.
Yep. Yeah. So it's Matty the horse.
Matty the horse. And he died in...
Oh, that's a different guy then. He died when?
2012. This has got to be the
about
same
right.
guy. He was with the Genovese crime family of New York
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hilarious.
He controlled the lucrative sex industry centered near Times Square. He was convicted of bid rigging in construction, skimming union dues, and extorting protection money from bar owners, pornography peddlers, and topless dancers as Times Square became filled with peep shows.
Nice. Yeah, probably not a guy you want to piss off.
Just a legend of the game. Legend of the game.
Oh, I will tell you one thing about it, because the whole time the maitre d' was talking to me, whispering to me about who it was and all the rest of it, I look over, and the horse is looking at me laughing because he knows what the maitre d's telling me. He's like, boy, you know what? I'm not as hungry as I thought I was. I think I'll head out.
Yep, that's. Can I actually get this boxed up to go? We're gonna head.
We're gonna get out, man. Well, first of all, why would you go to an Italian restaurant in New York and insult anyone? It's just not a good idea.
Yeah, I would just assume that everybody in there was a part of the mob.
Yeah, probably.
And yeah, I'm not gonna piss anybody off.
And quick backstory on the horse's nickname origin. Okay. I guess so. He got his nickname Matty the Horse in a youth baseball game. So he was up to bat during a game. The pitcher threw a hard pitch right at him. A fight breaks out. Seems like he goes straight to the pitcher, knocks him down. He was taller, he was bigger, he was older, and the parents are like, "God damn, that kid's as strong as a horse." And then boom, it's tough. Matty the Horse, Matty the Horse, Iannello.
You know what? I always had heard he was called the horse because he had the big schwanz. That's what I was told. So who knows? I mean, that's one thing about mafia stories. There are about 8 different versions of every story.
Yep. Yeah. Somebody's like, oh, he, back in the day, took his rival that pissed him off in an Italian restaurant and hooked him up to a horse and dragged him through the streets of New York. And that's how he got the nickname. Or right. There's always some made up story.
No doubt about it. No question. I must have a spy that follows me around because I'm looking at this headline, top 5 most annoying people at the grocery store beside that person with too much stuff in the 10 items or less lane. That was me yesterday.
You had too many items?
I had too many items because I didn't know it was a 10 because it didn't say 10 items or less. So I go and she goes, you got more than 10 items. I said, yeah. She goes, well, this is 10 or less. I went, oh, I didn't know. There's no sign. She goes, all right, I'll take care of you. I go, okay. But you had to bitch at me first. I see. Yeah, but there wasn't a sign that's saying 10 items or less. It just, maybe the people that shop there all the time know that's the story or something.
And I don't care about the 10 items or less line. Like, that's fine. But if you're in the self-checkout and you just take forever because you don't know how to work it, that's more annoying to me than the 10 items or less lane.
I would never go to well, first of all, I support people who work at the grocery store, so I don't check myself out because they have a job and they need to get paid, right? So I go to the humans all the time. Plus, I'm not going to say, oh, let me check this item. It's like, just get it to hell, put it in the cart and leave me alone. Right? That's that deal. Okay, so here's the deal. A grocery shopper flashed a gun after he was confronted for having more than 10. He pulled a gun because he had more than 10 items. Hey, we're back to Matty the horse. In the express lane, but when it comes to the list of morons we encounter at the market, do you encounter a lot of morons when you go to the supermarket?
No.
I don't either.
So.
Yeah, I would say yes, but not like in the sense that they're insanely dumb, but more just like socially dumb.
Yeah.
Miss, your cart does not need to block the entire lane here, the entire aisle.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to look at something, you do a parallel park, so to speak. You bring it off to the side. You don't stand in the middle. Same thing. If you got a small child, keep them somewhat close to you. Don't have them run around like knocking boxes off. And then it's like, do I need to fix this? Because the worker's just seeing me like standing here watching. It's not my kid, but it looks like, social awareness, I think. Not maybe like full out dumb.
Yeah, I understand. No question. Okay, so these are some of the top 5 most annoying people at the grocery store. Well, this one I don't mind. Come on, man. They lead with the grandma in front of you paying by check. Could you respect the elderly for Christ's sake? She's an old woman writing a check. So what?
I'll give her a pass if it accepts the checks. Like a lot of places just don't accept checks now.
That's true.
But some people, because I've worked this, we have giant signs that's like, sorry, we don't accept checks anymore. And we haven't for years. But then somebody's like, nope, I insist. This is how I pay. And it's like, well, I don't know what we're doing here because I can't. I'm not taking this.
Also, and I doubt that grandma is out here writing, $40 bad checks to purchase her groceries.
Yeah.
You more have to worry about somebody that's trying to get, $1,000. Here's this check type of thing. Some scammer.
A couple of more quickly before we get to Judd in just a couple of seconds here. The employee who takes forever to show up to unlock the deodorant cage. What the hell's the deodorant cage?
Well, we live in vastly different areas.
Yeah, everything is everything is locked up now, Tom. Like if you go to Target,
I suppose, yeah,
like the laundry detergent, toothpaste, like everything has. You would think it's like electronics back in the day.
One thing I will tell you about that when I go later in the evenings, I do the exact opposite, and I suppose it's because of how I grew up and all the rest of it. Most people after dark will only go to Target, whereas when I do it, I only go to Walmart because it's very helpful. But a lot of honkies won't do it because it's mostly black shoppers after dark at Walmart. See, I like it. They're uncomfortable for some reason. You ever seen that?
I mean, Walmart is just a really weird place to go shop in general. And like, no matter which Walmart you go to, it's like a foreign country almost, where it's just people that shop at Walmart. And sometimes it looks like they didn't plan on leaving the house that day. Like you'll be in their bathrobe with their shower cap on and barefooted going to get some groceries.
That does happen. There's no question. Well, to tell you the truth, I was looking for something. I was looking for Prevagen, which apparently is really good for your memory. I've never taken it. I still haven't taken it. I got to get to it. But there was this young guy. He's about maybe 18 years old. Black man in America today, that kind of deal. This shows you why I'm so comfortable going to Walmart at night.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for stuff. I'm looking for Prevagen. I can't find it. He comes walking up, which is interesting because isn't that a memory drug?
Yeah, you forgot where it was.
I forgot where it was. That's not good news. Anyway, he did this, and this is from about, I'd say 1980, somewhere. This kid, 18, I don't even know where he ever heard it before, but I think he did it just to be a pain in the ass. I said, sir, could you help me out? And he walks up and he goes, what's up, homie? I thought that was hilarious. See, it just, you guys don't get the thrill out of that stuff that I do. It's a different world, man. It just is. I'll do a couple more. Oh, no, yeah, I suppose we better get going. I'll do one more. Yeah. Aggressive Girl Scouts hawking cookies at the door.
Yep.
I buy them all.
Yeah, I shamefully put my head down and just keep walking because
well, most people do. Yeah.
Yep.
But then I buy all of the rest of it. So you can go in the store because I got about 7,000 boxes of cookies now. And I don't know what the hell it is. I cannot walk by a little kid who needs my financial help. I can't do it.
What did I see? Speaking of deodorant and then girls, I saw, and I'm pretty sure this is a real thing. Girl Scout branded scented deodorant is being
what?
No way.
If you want to smell like a Thin Mint, you can go ahead and do that.
Well, it's
you
not
can lather up.
Chocolate and coconut, isn't that what? Or it's not coconut. What is it? It's got mint.
No, that's the Caramel Delights or whatever. Yeah, I forget. I don't know what they're called now, but yeah, those ones are that was like my mom and my favorite. So
and
the coconut ones. Yeah,
you are right, AJ. Native and Girl Scouts have collaborated to make a deodorant. So,
really?
Yep, it looks like it's selling at Target.
A question: why does a 10-year-old girl need deodorant?
Why do you want to smell like a cookie?
Well, that's another good one.
Hard-hitting questions here.
All right, we got to take it. Yeah, this is getting too deep now. It's getting very, very serious here. There's no question about it. I got one more. The most annoying thing about going to the grocery store, the bagger who puts the potato chips at the bottom of your bag. Why would you do that ever?
Yeah. That or like eggs.
Eggs, yeah. Mm-hmm. So we all agree on all of this. So that works for me. We'll take a break, be right back. Judd will join us right after this. How do you know when it's time to make the move for higher profits? So many factors influence the decision to relocate. If you're looking for fewer taxes, less business regulation, and higher profits, 2024 is the time, and Sioux Falls is the place. Sioux Falls has available buildings and build-ready sites to get your company up and running fast. Best of all, any size company can make more money in Sioux Falls area. That's a fact, by the way. That's not conjecture. We've got the details at SiouxFallsDevelopment.com. Minnesota companies just like yours have considered the future and expanded or relocated to Sioux Falls. Those companies are already enjoying our short commutes, safe streets, and quality of life excellence. Join them and discover our productive people, affordable land, reduced red tape, fewer taxes, and higher profits. Think it over. 2024 is the time to make your move to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Visit SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Let's take a second and talk about my bank, North American Banking Company, and Bill Ski. If you own a business or are thinking about starting one, make sure to check out my friends at North American Banking Company. When your business is looking to capitalize on an opportunity or solve a problem, turn to their experts because they are locally owned and operated. Loan decisions are made here in the Twin Cities, not shipped out of state. What it does is help business owners expand with confidence because it's right there, baby. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back. Judd Zulgad now joins us. So what's the latest with you?
Not too much, actually. Hey, I forgot to ask you a couple days ago about this. Did I see a really nice photo of you out with the Nannies and Lettieris?
No, yeah, except for that shirt I'm wearing. It makes me look like I weigh about 500 pounds, for Christ's sake. Why is the shirt? It's literally like this. And it's this big, it's like like not really a rain type of deal. I don't know what the hell it is.
Like a windbreaker?
Yeah, kind of like a short sleeve windbreaker. And when I was sitting there I don't know why, but the thing stuck out about a foot from my body.
It looked
like,
comfortable.
Jesus.
But it was
it's
a great
comfortable.
photo. It was a cool photo.
But it made my head look like it was about the size of a softball, which is not good. No, I've known Louis forever. The whole Nanny family, Tino Lettieri and his lovely wife, Michelle, who is Francine and... what's the guy you mentioned? Some Louis or something like that?
Lou something, yes.
Lou from the Sioux?
Yep.
Now, we've been friends for many, many years. Catherine and really good friends with Michelle and Francine. We're all of us, all 6 of us, very, very close. And I tell you one thing that's interesting you bring that up, because everybody started to get together after about a few-year hiatus. And the reason for that, it wasn't intentional. It's just, it does happen this way, that Marty and Francine lost a son a few years ago, and Vince Flynn died a short time later. So it was like, we just didn't hang out for a couple of years because it was pretty much like just before, right during the pandemic.
Right.
And we just started getting back to it. Was very, very difficult to lose those 2 guys in such a short period. It was terrible.
Oh,
Both
yeah, that's
very young.
Tough. Yep, absolutely.
So it's great to be back. It's the second. We had dinner twice last week, as a matter of fact, and it's just having dinner with Lou Nanne is a different experience.
I did love the fact that he was also in the photo glued to his cell phone.
Oh, he's on his phone. Absolutely. That's absolutely right. Louis going to be on his phone. There's no question about it. But Martire Lettieri, his son-in-law, Tino Lettieri, is one of my best friends in the world. He's just such a great guy. Wonderful guy. One thing I love about Italians, and I'm very serious about this, we went to a place last night called Stressa. It's one of the great Italian restaurants in America. It's phenomenal, right? And it's a husband and wife team. They're always our servers when we go in, because I've been going there for 27 years. We go in there. We finished our meal last night, and the female server, the wife of the male server, hands me the check. I sign it, take care of it. She goes, "Give me a kiss." She leans over, I kiss her on the. It's just a different experience, man.
Wow, that's great.
I love Italians. I just do. I'm the one guy in America that loves Italian people. That's it.
You're the only guy?
I'm the only guy.
Nobody else.
Nobody else does. Now, that kind of stuff, that's so sweet and wonderful. It's the best. No question about it. But everybody, you know, what's amazing about that, Judd, is everybody I know has seen that picture already.
Well, yeah, I saw it on Twitter, I think, pretty quickly. I think
is
I
that
tweeted
right?
out quickly. Yeah, so, and again, the funniest part was Louis on the phone, because he's been glued to his phone for how long? You know, he's told a story. He had he wanted to get a car phone back in like the early 80s.
Yep.
Or 70s when he was the GM of the North Stars, to make calls on his car phone. And I remember he told a story. He talked to a buddy of his who said that there's, you know, some problems at the time with it being hacked into or something, right? So Lou's like, well, then I couldn't, because if I'm talking about a trade and it gets hacked into, so.
I suppose that makes sense. Yeah, that would not fly too well. He's talking about doing a trade, and all of a sudden everybody in the world knows about it.
Exactly.
But I'm serious. Louis and Francine used to throw parties at their house. We'd all get together. Like I said, the Flynns would get together, and you know, like a lot of people, Frank Vassalero and his lovely wife, they would come to all of them. Vince Flynn and his wife would come. It was just this group of people, and we all loved one another. It was not just hanging out. I think the world of the entire Lettieri family, the Nanne family, all of it, it's true affection I have for them. They're just really, really good people.
That's awesome.
It's true. And speaking of phones in your car, I had one of those first brick phones. Remember the brown bricks?
Oh, God, yeah.
I had one of those. Friend of mine, hey, can I drive your new car? I had a new convertible. It was a Cadillac Alante. Do you remember those?
Vaguely, yes.
There are about 2 of them in the United States, so well, not a big seller, I guess, but I love the car myself.
Yep.
But a friend of mine over at the Q over there on Highway 100 says, hey, I got to run up to Byerly's. Got to use your car. I said, yeah, sure. So I give him the keys. He comes back, and he's like 45 minutes to run up to Byerly's and come back. I'm like, what the hell took so long? He goes, well, I got to be honest with you. I got out of the car, went in the store, and as I'm coming back out of the store, there's a guy grabbing your phone because he left the top down on the car with my phone in it.
Oh, you're kidding me.
So he chases the guy by car all the way down the street, and finally the guy threw the phone back at him. I mean, why would you leave a phone in a car with the top down?
I bet you never lent him your car again.
No, he never got to get. I wouldn't even give him a ride in my car. That's what that got
That
around
is
to.
Remarkable. But those brick phones, how heavy were those things?
They weighed a ton. It was like, honest to God, okay to talk more, but my arm's tired. It was a different deal.
Cradle it between your shoulder and your head, definitely.
I got to be honest, though, now when I'm walking, because I go out for a lot of walks, walk 6-7 miles a day, something like that, and I cannot get used to the fact that mostly women they're on their walks, and they're talking to no one, because you can't see their earpiece.
Oh, yeah. I've come across this before.
It's like, that is creepy. Walking down the street going, I told him just get the hell away from. I thought, what are you, mentally ill? Oh, you're on the phone.
Yep.
Okay. It's like, it makes me uncomfortable. You can't see the phone. She's going, oh, yes, I just love that. Absolutely. It's this magnet. It's like, who the hell are you talking to?
I know. When people first started to do that, I would be really thrown off.
Sure.
Because of that.
Yep.
Now I'm used to it, but it is, to your point about that too, the other thing that's amazing is the situational unawareness of society. The amount of people who either are texting or talking while walking, and you talk about not being aware of your surroundings. If I had a kid, which I don't, fortunately, but if I did, I would tell that kid, look, here's the most important thing. Like if you're at a parking ramp or something, be paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, well, yeah, behind you, to your right, to your left, in front of you. Don't walk down the street not paying attention. That is not a good idea.
No, I contend that's a huge problem that's not discussed enough, like with muggings and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge problem is that, and it's not just, it's everybody, but the amount of people that are paying, because you can't pay attention to like 3 things at once.
God, that's so funny. I used to walk around Lake Calhoun back when I was doing some lifting with the guys, and we were all pretty big. I was the smallest of all the big guys. Let me put it that way. They were big fellas. And the 2 of us were walking around Lake Calhoun one time just talking, and this young guy comes up behind us. He goes, hey, fellas, I got to tell you something. I said, yeah, what's that? And he goes, I was going to rob you, but then I got to pawn you, and I'm not going to rob you. I was like, okay.
Oh, you're kidding.
Thanks for the info. I guess we were too big to rob, apparently. Apparently he didn't have a gun. He just had a knife. He didn't think that'd go too well.
Well, smart guy.
Yeah, he was pretty smart. The guy I was with could bench about 8 billion pounds. I will tell you that. He was a big, strong sumbitch, man. Well, he's the guy they used to test the weapons on in prisons. Like, those rubber ball cannons. They'd shoot him with them to see if they could knock him down.
Oh my God.
That's how tough that guy was. My buddy Dale, just a great guy. No question about it.
That was the testing though?
Well, it changed after a while because he says, wait a minute, wait, that rubber ball gun looks a lot bigger. He steps away. It's a concrete block wall, right?
Yeah.
He goes, shoot it at the wall. I just want to see how hard it hits the wall. It put a dent in the wall. It chipped the concrete out of one of the blocks. It hit the wall so hard. He goes, you ain't shooting me with that. No.
Yeah, I'm not signing up for that job. I don't care how big and tough I think I am.
Right.
You're not testing weapons. No, absolutely not.
It's the greatest. And one thing he did tell me, though, that was hilarious. He comes up to me one time. He goes, Tommy, I got to tell you something. You're pretty notorious in North Minneapolis. I said, what do you mean notorious? He goes, every new guy that comes into our prison, hey, Dale, I heard you know Tom Barnard. I was like, yeah, great, thank you. So apparently all the thugs knew who I was, what's not great news, by the way. But what the hell?
Well, perhaps they respected you, though.
Highly doubtful.
perhaps they respected you, and so you had the respect of the community of some very, very rough, gruff people.
It is all true. We got 2 more days till that first MLB Network Twins game. Who do you take on, Boston? Is that?
Well, they play the Gopher baseball team on Friday in an exhibition thing, and then they start the real Grapefruit League stuff on Saturday.
Oh, because it shows that they got a game on Friday night.
They do against the Gophers.
And have they always played the Gophers?
They off and on,
okay.
But they have played them quite a bit. Yeah.
So that's going to be on the MLB Network?
That I don't know, but it's very possible. It's very possible because I don't know the amount of games that are actually being played on Friday. I think we start, as they say, in earnest on Saturday. So it's very possible that they'll carry that. But yeah, this will be the Gophers and the Twins have played in Fort Myers on several occasions. I know. In fact, back in the day when the Twins were in Orlando, Tom will recall this. They used to open a lot of times against Rollins College, where your buddy John Castino went.
Correct. Johnny Castino. I haven't seen Johnny C in a long time, and that was another tough one when he and his lovely wife got divorced. That was really hard on everybody because they were a great couple, and we were just made us very sad.
That is too bad. Yeah, he the story I've heard, and I have not confirmed this, but I'd be curious to know, is that when the Twins won the World Series in '87, Tom, that Castino took a long drive and was emotional as hell because he should have been on that team.
Yep.
If you recall, it was his back that derailed everything, and he was actually a hell of a ball player. He was really good.
Yeah, he was co-MVP that year, or Rookie of the Year, not MVP, co-Rookie of the Year that year.
Alfredo Griffin of Toronto. That's exactly right. Third baseman. He had a great glove, and then I think in part because of the back problems, I think they moved him to second base because of that to take the stress off his back a little bit. But he was on a team at that point that was really bad way back when. He was a really good player.
The thing about that is it's so sad because the Gary Gaettis of the world and John Castino and Herbeck and I still talk all the time, but I miss those guys because I used to play golf. One thing about playing golf with Johnny Castino, if one guy in the foursome hit a bad shot, he'd go, "Come on, boys, let's get it together."
Full baseball.
Yeah, old baseball on the golf course. Boy could hit a long ball. I will tell you that with a golf club. Holy Hannah.
Hell of an athlete, man. That glove
Great
at
athlete.
Third base, he was a slick fielder.
He was indeed, and I just loved hanging out with that. Matter of fact, I got to reach out to Johnny Castino one of these days. I talked to Gaetti last year, but I haven't talked to him for about a year now either. But
I think Castino's in Florida, right?
Yeah. You go down the list of people. That team that pre-87, 87 to 91, and maybe a year after that, a bunch of great guys, except for Jimmy Laudner. Not that great a guy, I love Lauds. Have you met Laud's new girlfriend?
No.
She has one thing in common with my wife. They're both blind. Let me put it that way. If you know what I'm saying. I'm talking about falling for the two of us. They got to have some sight problems.
Come on. Lodge is a former professional athlete. He's a big guy.
No, he is a very big guy, no question about it. Now,
Lodge looks like he should have played football, to be honest.
He did, I think, at Missouri. Didn't he play football at Missouri?
I don't recall that. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised at all because he is a big man.
Well, I tell the story. I've told it many times, but it's worth telling. The number 9 hole at Golden Valley, 364 yards. I hit a driver, maybe about 100 yards short of the green, so I hit it about 260, which is a big drive for why I couldn't do it now. But Laudner took out a 1-iron and hit it about 20 yards off the front of the green.
Oh, my God.
That thing carried and carried and carried and carried. It's like, Jesus. Laudner's a hell of a good golfer. I don't know if you know that or not.
No, I didn't, but I'm not surprised.
Lauds is the one thing about Laudner. It's so funny. You talk about music. Do not ever bring up John, Paul, George, and Ringo because he'll go into his fake English accent. He goes, "Oh, I hate the Beatles. I hate the Beatles." For some reason, he just doesn't like the Beatles. How could you not like the Beatles?
I have no idea. That completely changes my feelings about Lodge right there. I'm done with him
you're out
now.
of the mix.
I'm done with him now. I have no idea how you could hate that group.
You know what's so great about him, though? He does a damn good job on television for the Twins. I think he does a hell of a good job.
He works a lot of games in that post game role too.
Got a bunch of really good people. That 87 and 91, those two teams, unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
God, that was fun. I hope we can do that again some year.
So were you not close but friends with Puckett?
No, Puckett and I did not get along at all.
Really?
And he always said to people, and I said to people, I don't understand why he doesn't like me. And Puckett would always say, I don't understand why Tom doesn't like me. So nobody ever figured out what it was. I don't know. I'm not big on philandering. I got to be honest with you. That was the deal about him, that every woman that moved, he wanted to take a shot at, which I suppose if you're a superstar, that's what, I don't know. I have no interest in that, but yeah, there are a couple of things about Kirby I didn't care for.
And that stuff really didn't come out till the SI piece after his career was done.
Yeah.
Publicly, I should say.
Publicly, yeah, we all knew about it.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
All the rest of it, but yeah, you get on a list of all the great guys in that team. It was just, man, that was fun. The three guys that hated my guts were well, Kirby didn't hate me, we just didn't get along.
Okay.
But flat out hatred, I got out of Al Newman and Tom Brunansky. Those two just hated me. It was hilarious.
How could Al Newman hate you?
I don't know. He actually started yelling at me on the field. I was out on the field for batting practice one time, and he came over and started just yelling at me. I'm like, would you calm down? It's a radio show, you dumb bastard.
Of everyone on that Twins team, you just named the three people who you weren't close with, who I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
Kirby, Al, and Bruno. Now, I would have said Gladden.
Gladden wouldn't come anywhere near me. We wouldn't even talk. Gladden, no. We're not close either.
Gladden would strike me as the type that doesn't, or that didn't trust media people being close to like Herbeck or something.
That's correct. 100% right.
He just, I'm trying to think of who else on that team. In '91, I'm guessing that you and Knobloch weren't real tight.
The Knobber.
And of course, one of the great KQ bits of all time. So
I went to when Ocean Air used to be in the old location at 13th and Nicollet.
Yeah. I
walk in there one night, and it's the wife of, let's see, there was Kirby Puckett's wife. What was his first wife's name?
Tanya.
Yeah, Tanya was there, along with Paul Molitor's wife, and I can't remember who the third woman was. Okay. But they were all getting divorced from their husbands.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy, come on over and sit down with us. I'm like, no, you got to come. So I sat there and talked to him. You got to support us in this. Don't support those guys. I know you like to tell the truth. Well, this is the truth. So I got to hear about their 3 horrible marriages.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
That's funny about that show. I just, got caught up a lot in that stuff.
I bet. Yeah, because Paul's first wife was Linda Molitor, right?
I believe that's right. I think that's a long time ago now.
Yeah,
man. That's a long time ago. But Molitor's younger brother worked with my brother. They worked at Northwest Airlines as baggage handlers.
Oh,
what do you think of that action?
Really?
But
good old Northwest Airlines.
It's one of those deals, I think, when everybody knows who you are on both sides, it's kind of hard to figure out if people like you because they like you, they hate you because they hate you, or it's just kind of what they do.
Right. They're trying to get you to be on their side.
Something like that. One guy I always did like, though, was TK. TK was the best.
Yep.
I loved him. I loved TK. Ran into him at a golf course about 5-6 years ago. Is still in a great mood, man. It was wonderful. That era, 87 to 91, was what a 4-year period that was, man. God, it was great.
Oh, it was so much fun. And Tom was... It's too bad because, at that time, Tom didn't deal with the media well, and so that became a real problem. But, I mean, he is, in my opinion, he easily could be a Hall of Famer.
No question about it.
2 World Series titles with that franchise.
Yep.
And you think about, and I mean, the first one, what, Tom? He was 35? 36 years old.
Yeah,
I mean, he was a
right.
young man in 87. Yep. And so there are managers with a lot less credentials. And I know that the majority of the 90s for the Twins were awful, but there's a lot of managers with less credentials that, you know, or with credentials that don't include 2 World Series championships, much less than a 5-year period or whatever it was.
One of my favorites, I know we got to go here, but one of my favorite stories with TK, because I always got along well with TK. He was always a good guy. I was listening to Sid on WCCO, now owned by, what's that pig's name again? George Soros.
Oh, okay.
You know he owns CCO now?
He's buying it, right? He's buying he's buying the entire company.
Yep.
Odyssey, yeah, I saw that.
That's all we need is that scumbag running radio. That's just wonderful. But in any case, I'm listening to Sid Hartman on the Tom Kelly show, and it's Tom Kelly and Sid. And this guy calls in. I have no idea who he was. He goes, TK, let me ask you a question. There's a guy out there you should go get. He'd be a great team member. Seriously, you got to go out and get him. And TK goes like, okay, who are we talking about? And he goes, you should sign Tom Barnard. And there's this really long pause. And I don't know who the guy was. I have no idea who it was. Right. Long pause, and TK goes, well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's TK.
Ah, what a wonderful time, man. We got to win some World Series again. Judd, we got to win. And let's win more one Super Bowl. How about that?
Yeah, 1 Super Bowl, 1 more championship besides that. How about that? And then we can all die happy.
All right, Pally. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Outstanding. See you guys later.
Thanks a lot. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Egert will join us right after this. In addition to having the best selection in town, K&L Surplus and Ammo also can help you sell your firearms safely and worry-free. If you've inherited a collection of firearms from a loved one and don't know what to do with them, or if you have guns you are no longer using, call Jim at K&L Surplus and Ammo. Jim can help you sell those firearms safely through consignment and auction. I know Jim. He's extremely knowledgeable and will help you get top dollar. He will help you explore all the options and take the work and stress off of your shoulders. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Lina Lakes, open Tuesday through Saturday. You can also visit them online at www.klgunstore.com.
Hi guys, it's Chris Egert from Channel 5 Morning News, along with my friends Megan Newquist and Ken Barlow. In the morning, we pride ourselves on sharing people's stories. I've been lucky enough to be part of this 5 Eyewitness News morning team for more than a decade now. This is where I've raised my kids and working alongside my friends for all these years. We're like a family too.
We are family, Chris. Working with you and Ken and Hannah, it is such an honor to help folks start their day every morning on Channel 5. We get to catch people up on the news that's happening, and Hannah is here to keep an eye on the traffic around town.
And when it comes to weather, I know people rely on me to plan their day and get their family out the door. Over the last 10 years, there were so many memories and so many laughs. I just love sharing the forecast alongside you guys.
I feel the same way, Ken. To all you who start your day with us here on Channel 5, we think of you as family too. Thanks for turning on 5 Eyewitness News in the mornings.
Yeah, that was very professionally done, I thought, didn't you? My goodness. Mike Lindell, the MyPillow employees, want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. Just talked to Dawn last night, as a matter of fact, from MyPillow. To thank you, they're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever when you use promo code TOM, and you get free shipping on your entire order. Get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98. And take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses and mattress toppers, 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb, dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM and you get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code TOM.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Yeah, I was just thinking of having this really, I don't know how to describe this, really professional news anchor on. Oh, there he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Channel 5. It's not this guy. I can tell you that right now.
It's not happening. There you have it. Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608, 952-925-5608. Chris Egert. What's in the news this morning, Buster?
More of the same with the first responders who were shot this weekend. You were talking about the background of the suspect yesterday, and we did quite a bit more reporting on that yesterday after I got off the air with you guys. And but by every account, dude should have never had guns. The guy should have, as it unfortunately often is, there's like several intersection points along the way where this guy should have been taken care of, or should have been in jail, should have had, guns taken away, should have not been around women, all kinds of stuff. So that if people are interested in that, we've got that on our website to dig a little deeper in that. But pushed one of the mothers of his children like down the stairs, headbutted one of them, just anyway. So I don't want to focus on him. I think it's more important to focus on the officers, and there's going to be a lot of memorials and stuff for them over the next couple of days, and that's been our big story today again, Tom.
See, that's one of the things that justice system does not understand, that there are some people in the world that will never, ever, ever do the right thing. They're always going to do whatever they want to do, and if it's bad for you, too bad. I don't understand why our legal system doesn't understand people like that do not belong in society. Sorry.
I mean, what we haven't found out is like the sort of the backstory beyond what we're hearing from the, women who have he's fathered children with, and what it was that this particular incident that happened the other night that sort of pushed things over the edge, so a lot of that still, I'm imagining at some point that'll start coming out in some, different kind of court paperwork and whatnot. But that's still kind of out there, that we don't know what there was, what kind of a catalyst that sort of started things down the wrong path the other night. So,
I got to be honest with you. I think the national news does not help at all. I think that the fact that, don't worry about it, you did something wrong, we'll just let you out for now. We don't enforce the law anymore. We just don't do it any longer. And these people on the national news puking out their hatred for the other side, all they ever do is anger everyone. They want people on edge. They want people pissed off because they get more viewers and they make more money when you're angry. That's just a fact. It's too bad. Now, I should mention they would never think of doing that over at the number 5, but
I would like to think we're not over exaggerating things, and we're trying to be as calm about it as possible. I mean, they're probably, I won't lie. Every once in a while, when there's a snowstorm coming or something, there might be just a little bit of drama that's built into the.
No, you're lying, Chris.
But for those of us who've been around for a while, we really don't buy into that crap. And I don't think our viewers do either. I think people want us to just, be real about it and not some kind of phony hype crap.
You should just pick one story every morning that you're like, we're just going to do some fake phony hype crap for this. And it's the most outrageous, like you're live at like the Popcorn King has got a new flavor. And this is
right.
One.
Chris Egert live on the scene.
Well, the big headline this morning, of course, is Apple wants you to stop putting your wet iPhones in rice. That's the headline. I haven't read the story, but I didn't know people did. I suppose they thought the rice would suck out all the water.
I never had luck with that. I'd always heard that being like a thing. And I actually think, Tommy, back in the day when you were still voicing stuff for us, there was a commercial that was somebody dropping their phone, and we put it in a bag of rice. And I don't quite know what all that had to do with the newscast being on, but I'm almost positive your voice was in the background of it. And I was like, wow, this must really work. And then I tried it and it didn't work. So I don't know.
Why would you think that would work? I suppose a little bit it would work, but it's not going to suck out every drop out of your phone that you dropped in the lake.
I'm only like 0 for 2 or 3 on that. If anyone else has had luck getting that to happen, then God bless them.
One other thing I would mention. Oh, Tom, you dropped your phone in the lake. Well, I guess I better get a new one because I'm not going to swim down to get it.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Better than dropping it in an outhouse.
Well, I've heard of that happening.
People do that too, and they'll go in for it, which is insane. Which is absolutely insane to me. I'm like, nope, that's going to be gone.
I'm not a big outhouse guy anyway. It's just
nobody wants to be, right? Like if you're in that situation, you are in, and particularly if you're sitting down in there, you are in dire straits.
Yes, your day isn't going according to plan if you're taking a number 2 in an outhouse.
No, not even the best outhouse.
I hate that idea. I do. I hate it. Oh God, you got to go already. My God, we got to you late.
I do. You guys were you're very excited about the Twins, which why not?
Friday night, baby.
This is the best time of year no matter pick your sport, like right before it really gets started. This is always the most optimistic time of year because
no doubt
this could be the year.
This could be it, baby. They did it in 87 and 91. Maybe they can do it now.
Grab your Homer Yankees.
Absolutely. All right, Chris, we'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll get you on time tomorrow. I promise.
All good. Have a good day, you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. We'll take a break. Be right back. Dave Bielka will join us right after this. When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market and the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
February is the month for love. When is the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it really deserves? Have you gotten down on your hands and knees and adored how clean and refreshed it was? Or are you scared what you might see or smell maybe? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the biggest air filter in your house. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home with their Love Your Rug special. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at just $119 and a free hallway. Don't forget dirt and dander's favorite hiding place, your air ducts. This month, take $75 off when you get your air ducts Zero Res clean. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, 952-ZEROREZ, or go online at zeroresminnesota.com and say you want the Tom Barnard Show special. Protect your employees and customers by getting your business Zero Resified by the pros at Zero Res. Call today for your commercial cleaning estimate. Spell it forward or backward. It spells the same. Zero Res.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
You certainly are, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone joining us now live, Dave Bialke, brought to you by Bialke Law Firm. Heard at work, Dave Bialke goes to work for you, taking care of your workers' comp injury claims and denials. Call 763-571-2410 or go to bialkelaw.com. Tell them that Tom sent you if you would. Dave, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you, Tom?
Marvelous. I wanted to ask you something because I've been thinking about doing this now for about a month, but I finally decided I have the courage to do it today. What if my feelings get hurt working with the two guys, Tevin and AJ? Can I sue the piss out of them?
Well, you can, but the problem is you have to demonstrate an aggravation of a pre-existing condition, and I'm not sure if that's going to fly.
Yeah, and the other problem is you're not going to get very much.
Why not? I'm going for the big dough, man. I'm going for the big dough. I was trying to think back.
Although, yeah, you need to have a wage loss claim, and you'll still make money because the more pissed off you get, the more money you make kind of in your business, right?
I suppose that's probably true. You might be right about that. I never thought of it that way. Hey, Tom's really pissed off. He must be having a good day cash-wise.
Yeah, everyone tune in and listen to him because he's pissed off this morning.
Dave, I was going to ask you a question about and I'm not taking the other side. I just like to look at both sides of issues and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Are firms, whether it's the foreperson or the owner or whatever, are they a little, on edge all the time? Because back in the day, I never, like when I was a kid, which is a long time ago, obviously, but I had never heard of anybody hurt at work making claims, unless they got really severely hurt. It just didn't fly back in the day. But people don't have to worry about that anymore, do they?
No, they don't. And the work comp statute has been in existence for over 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
But previously, years ago, it was just, really the ones that knew about it were like large contractors with union employees.
Oh, sure.
But, it's been pretty out in the open for 40 years or more that everyone, is aware in some form of workers' compensation. But, you say that's kind of amusing because this is all I do is workers' compensation law. I've been doing it for over 30 years. But when I was a, teenager, even going into college and frankly, even into law school, I did not know what workers' comp was.
Right.
I had a girlfriend at the time. She was working as she's like a framer, and she like severely lacerated her hand, and I'm oh God, what's going to happen? Whatever, and find out there's workers' compensation. I didn't even know it existed. I didn't know what it was.
You just gave me this greatest memory of my entire life. Living at 26th Avenue in North Minneapolis, I come out one morning, and my neighbor is getting out of his car and walking back into his house. He left the car running out in the street and walked back into his house. And I said, George, what are you doing? He goes, I'm going to go see my lawyer about an injury I have, so I have to go get my crutches. I went, wait a second. So you have to have crutches, but you forgot your crutches. But in order to convince your lawyer to go after him, you had to go back and you're going to walk into his office on crutches. He goes, well, hell yes, of course I am. Why wouldn't I? Like, oh, okay.
I got to pull out all the stops.
Pulling out all the stops, got all the props and all the rest of it.
We don't know everything, but we frequently can see through the BS. And, I represent everyone, but only if I think that I have a claim I can win on. And, I've been fooled before. Like I said, nobody's got the perfect see through people, but I usually can see through the BS, and I stick with. And then some people are like, you got to believe me. I said, well, I believe you. Those are the types that they're they come in there nervous that you're not going to believe them. Those are the ones that I believe more than the ones that just kind of stroll in with something that's a questionable injury. And I got this, So I usually see through the BS pretty quickly, and I represent those I believe that have a solid claim, or at least a claim that maybe not so solid, but enough that I can get a benefit for them, and I go for it.
Do you think there's any way to kind of match the Trump deal where I could get injured at work, sitting down doing a podcast, bad enough to win a $355 million settlement?
Possibly. This is. Are you talking about the bone spurs, or are you talking about
something? I got to come up with something. There's no doubt about it. I don't. I've never sued anyone in my life. I didn't even realize that. I don't know. I don't know why that. I have never been hurt at work. I mean, my feelings have been hurt, like just this morning by Tevin and AJ. So I should go after them, maybe.
Well, yeah, I told you the pitfalls you might have to that claim. So
yes,
we can talk about it later.
You've mentioned it to me. Now, how has this changed the work environment anyway? Because literally back in the day, many years ago, when I was a teenager, you had no shot at a workers' comp claim unless it was very serious, unless you lost a limb or something. But things have changed a great deal, which is a good thing. Obviously, people are getting their just due. Does it get better and better and better as we go by? People understanding, look, that you're not making a claim that's fake or any of the rest of it. You deserve this. Because some people, I think you mentioned last week, some people get a little nervous about, well, do I really deserve this? Well, yeah, if you got hurt at work, you deserve the money.
I really think it is getting a little easier over time. And I think number one, what you've been talking about is people are more educated and a little more confident in themselves than they were years ago. But the other thing is, there's a lot of employers that are just, they're just terrible to their employees. But to be honest, most employers are pretty good. Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of employer witnesses and, in addition to employer friends and so forth, you get in little discussions here and there, but generally, I would say employers are pretty good, and there are, again, exceptions, and if there weren't, if every claim was legitimately paid, I wouldn't do what I do. But, I'm going to be fair and say that generally employers are pretty good to their employees.
I got to bring something up to you. You just reminded me of something. We used to work, I don't think they're around anymore. Called Bladholm Brothers out in Osseo. I worked out there. We were the ones building those posts that are along 35W, those fences on both sides, the concrete posts that hold up the boards. Yep. We're making those, and I don't know what I did to Henry. Henry was the foreman, but I somehow pissed him off. I don't know what, because I'm usually very even keel, as you guys know. Not pissing people off and all the rest of it. Here, those forms were about probably 60 feet long. They were about 20 feet wide, and they were grooved, so you could pour 4 columns at once of concrete. It would settle, and you'd have this perfectly square concrete post, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Henry was so pissed off, and he walks up to me, and he says, Tom, I need you to go outside and do your job today. Matter of fact, the rest of the week you'll be doing this. And I said, what am I doing? Hands me an SOS pad and said, go out and scrub the form. I said, it's about 100 feet long, about 60 feet wide, and you want me to do it with an SOS pad? I figured out very quickly he was very pissed off at me about something and tried to figure out. I will never forget that. I'm looking down. I said, this is going to take me the rest of my life to get this thing clean, right? And then it settled down.
You better get started right away on it then.
I better get started. I'll never forget, though. He hands me an SOS pad. Here, go clean the form. Oh, okay. No problem. What the hell? I had it coming. No question about it. So I'm glad to hear that. I think in most forms of law, things have gotten a lot better. Back in the day, it was a lot tougher, wouldn't it? Back in the old days, getting any dough out of big corporations, things like that.
Well, even small businesses. I remember as a teenager, working back when I was a teenager, there weren't many jobs. You were happy to have a job and you worked hard. And some of the bosses and owners were just brutal. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think generally, small businesses employ, young workers, and they're more appreciative. Maybe I had more of a bad experience when I was a teenager, but I thought a couple of the bosses I worked for were just horrible people. Yeah. And they kind of got off on treating the lowest on as worst as they can. And I thought that takes a pretty low person to do that. And I met more than one of those types. And I'm sure they're still around, but I have hope and a little bit of confidence that there's fewer of them than there used to be.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I just thought of another claim I should have made, but I didn't. When I started at 1500 KSTP back in 1972, I think it was, 71, something like that. There was a guy that worked there, and then another guy named Steve Hatley. He was, unfortunately, Steve died in a motorcycle accident. He's no longer with us. But he was the midday guy, just a great guy from day one and all the rest of it. I said, you got any tips, things I should be doing? And he goes, well, if you ever work after, and I'm not going to say the guy's name, obviously, but if you work after, let's say his name is Bill. If you work after Bill, you have to change the chair. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, just don't use the chair that Bill sits in. There's one in the corner, exchange it. I said, why? And he goes, you'll find out. I said, okay. So I go in, I forgot what he told me, and I sat down on the wettest chair I've ever sat on in my life.
Oh,
you guys are all groaning.
That is
I did not see that from coming. I had an idea where this was going, and it was a complete reversal from what you said. Oh, man.
I swear to God, that guy had butt sweat like there was no tomorrow. I don't know how his pants... I don't know how he ever walked around with the wet butt of his pants all the time.
Oh,
that is disgusting. I would have went home immediately.
Yeah.
Day over.
1500 KSTP. My ass is getting wetter by the second.
I certainly have an idea where your emotional issue started.
Yeah, there's no question about it. It changed me as a person forever. Changed me for, but so the one thing we try to do when we talk to Dave every week is convince people you are not the bad guy. If you're the man or woman who got hurt, you need the help. You reach out to people like Dave Bialke to help you with this situation. Because I still think a lot of people, Dave, and you would know more about this than me, but a lot of people go, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I like the job. But hey, look, if you got hurt at work, you can still like your job, but you got to take care of it, right?
Absolutely. You're hurt at work, regardless of whose fault it is, and regardless whether you think that the claim has some substance or not. Give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you, let you know my thoughts, and we go from there. Just give me a call. It doesn't cost you anything. You can call me at 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410.
Or go to bialkelaw.com. You can do that too.
Yep, and send me a message, and I'll get right back to you.
We'll get it done. Always a pleasure, sir. We will talk to you again next week.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll talk then.
Me too, pal. Thanks a lot. Dave Bialke joining us, brought to you by Bialke Law Firm. Heard at work. Dave Bialke goes to work for you, taking care of your workers' comp injury claims and denials. Call 763-571-2410 or go to bialkelaw.com. Tell them Tom sent you. All right, full disclosure and don't lie.
Okay.
Have the two of you ever sat in a chair that somebody got ass juice all over?
No, but I did have a coworker that I wouldn't sit in his chair after he was in it because one day he worked at in front of a computer and he would watch porn.
Oh God! Oh no!
Yeah, I'm not going to sit in your chair just because.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel right.
You don't know. Don't bring the black lights out.
Yep.
Is what you're saying.
Yes.
No mayo on the chair though, was there?
I never saw any mayo on the chair, but yeah, he liked to watch porn and drink vodka while working. So he didn't last too long at the job. We'll just say that.
That's an
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you had some interesting? Well, why don't we do this? We'll go to break, come back, and we'll talk about the stuff that's happened to you at work right after this. Have you enjoyed Minnesota's non-winter this year? Want to enjoy the warmth whenever you want? Hello. Two Minnesotans can help you live that dream. Matt Carlson from Realty One Group Destination Key West grew up in Litchfield, Minnesota. Started out helping his friends find homes locally and in Florida, and now he can help you. If you've considered living in the warmth of Florida, now is the time to reach out to your new friend in Realty, Matt Carlson. It's a buyer's market now, and your Minnesotan friend Matt can help you with a new home here or in the Florida Keys. And if you need some guidance with financing, Kristyn Eklund from Coast to Coast Mortgage can help. Kristyn is Matt's preferred lender, can finance anywhere in Florida, and like Matt is one of us, as she hails from the Sartell, Alexandria area. So if you're looking at a new home in Minnesota, or maybe that second home or retirement place in Florida, trust your new local friends. Contact Matt and Kristyn. Visit onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com, or call Matt at 612-791-2345, 612-791-2345, and work with local professionals you can trust.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialki from Bialki Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialki Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkilaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market and the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
I'll have to call you back.
We're back. Tom's on the phone, so we're going to schmooze. Oh, here we go.
Kendall Norberg. He's having a really, really tough day out there, ladies and gentlemen. He's in Cabo San Lucas playing golf. Gee, that's too bad, Schwendel. You pain in the ass. You know what I love about that? You know, that always happens because when I'm on the East Coast and they're on the West Coast, they forget what time it is. So they always, well, your show hasn't started yet, has it? Yeah, I'm 3 hours ahead of you in the time zone. So, yeah, show's almost over if you want to go that way.
Well, just for that, I hope he bogeys the next 3 holes.
Yep.
Exactly.
And loses a ball or two.
Hopefully you call him in his backswing.
Yes.
Kendall's one of my favorite people in the world. You guys have met Kendall. Oh, AJ, I don't think you've met Kendall, but
I have
you
not
met Kendall.
I don't believe so.
No. Oh, you never have?
No.
Oh, you'd remember if you met him, believe me. He's one of those kind of guys. It's like, hey, let's have a good time and don't piss me off. He's just one of those kind of guys. Very tough man, no doubt about it. He's a tough guy. So what's happening? Anything good?
Anything good? I'm trying to think of what any good news that I've encountered today or recently. Not a whole lot. I feel like it's been a very calm week. It feels like something is about to happen. Yeah. So it's a very suspicious feeling.
I mean, I told you guys kind of before the show, and I figured I would only bring it up if you asked, but personal accomplishment. Yesterday, had to go to my dentist, normal checkup. 27 years straight, no cavities, no braces, no nothing. Oh my God. It amazes me how many people I talk to that they're like, I hate going to the dentist. I have one of my best friends. He hates going to the dentist.
Really?
I love it because I go sit down for like 30 minutes to an hour. I just get complimented and praised and all. Hey, look, your teeth are so. It's amazing. I love it. If you don't brush your teeth, I can't imagine how much you would hate the dentist because you just feel shame for an hour.
Yeah. Most of the things they do at the dentist don't bother me, but there's like the hooks in the poking, and sometimes they get in there and they're being all aggressive, and I'm like, my teeth can get pulled out. Like, I feel like you're not being as delicate as you should be with some of the stuff. But yeah, that just don't bother me overall.
Delicate. That works for me. Don't question about it. Okay, I'm going to run something by you guys because while you were talking, I just glanced down at my computer and I wish I hadn't because I saw a headline.
Oh, no.
This would not be for me. Oh, no, it's nothing serious.
Oh, okay.
Starbucks just debuted a flavor of coffee. And there is no way I could have ever guessed that it would be this flavor coffee. Okay, you want to know what it is?
Yeah, I'm curious.
It almost makes me hurl just saying this. Because I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I like to have a cup of coffee once in a while. I don't drink it anywhere. I drink maybe coffee about 5 times a year. I do like it, but it just, when I was doing the Q show for all those years, I left the house at 3:30 in the morning, and I wasn't about to set off the percolator, waking up Catherine at 3:30 in the morning. So we didn't do that. And the coffee over there was not very good. It was very bitter coffee, so I didn't ever drink that either. But Starbucks just debuted a new pork-flavored coffee.
Oh, flag on the plate.
Terrible.
What are we doing?
Pork?
What happened to shame?
Although,
exactly.
I don't know. I guess like bacon in the morning, that's part of breakfast, and you drink some cup of coffee. I get the idea, but I'm not stopping at Starbucks.
I'm a big advocate for, like, if it's on the plate, it doesn't need to be separated. Like, it's all going to the same place there. But that's the thing. Those are things on the plate. Not the cup and the plate are two separate things, separate utensils. Let's keep the pork flavoring on the plate. We'll keep the coffee flavoring in the cup. And that's, I mean, I kind of want to try it just so I can officially rule it out. But that's gross.
Do you go to Starbucks a lot, both of you?
No.
Oh no, I
don't either.
Rarely drink coffee.
Only on days when I win the lottery.
Oh, that many days have happened that you've won the lottery?
Well, because I'd have to win the lottery to get a cup of coffee there. It's expensive as hell.
Well, it's only about $75. What's the problem?
That's true, yeah.
And the main reason I don't go to Starbucks is because I just don't know how to order. Like, there's been a couple times where I've gone for my girlfriend and it'll be like, yeah, I need a Kappa mocha latte. And they all look at me like I'm just dumb. And I'm like, I could care less.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying because I like coffee. Like I said, I drink it about 5 times a year. I do like it. But when I go into the coffee store, whatever it is, wherever it is or whatever, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Put some cream and sugar in there and give it to me. Let's go.
Yeah. I don't know the difference between a Americano and
right.
And then I was like, can I just get a coffee? They're like, yeah, but what kind? I'm like, you tell me.
Yeah.
I don't know what any of these words mean. Frankly, I'm a little scared. I just want a little creamer in there and I will be out the door and out of your life. I promise.
What I love is some of these people go in there and they get there's a small, there's a medium, a large, and there's the size of a bucket. It's like, Jesus, some of those coffees like this tall and they're this, like, man.
I believe you're referring to the big gulp.
The big gulp, is that what it is? The big gulp? Probably
64 ounces, the size of an infant.
Holy God, can you imagine drinking 64 ounces of caffeine? How wound up I would be. Oh my God.
And those people, you'd be a tornado.
Yeah. And the people that are, don't talk to me unless I've had my cup of coffee. That's crack addicts in the drive-thru trying to get their Starbucks.
Although my mother, when you say Toots or Theophila or Tom, your mother, I picture my mother. She's got the cup of coffee in the left hand and the ciggy in the right hand. There we go. And it was like that about 12 hours a day. Coffee in the left hand, ciggy in the right hand. Lived to be 88 years old, though, so that was pretty good.
Let me ask you this, though. Would she always go like normal cup, or did she mix in some decaf there if she's going for that long in the day?
No decaf. No, we're getting jacked up. Never. And the great thing about it is, and I'm not kidding, she used to smoke Pall Mall straights when I was a little kid, right? And I used to sit and watch her talking on the telephone, and she'd have her coffee, and then in one hand she held the receiver and the cigarette in her right hand. And I would watch her take a pull on the cigarette for about 45 minutes. Jesus. And then she'd start talking, and smoke would come out of her mouth for about 5 minutes. I was like, yeah, I saw the guy yesterday. He told me that there's just smoke billowing out of my mother's lungs. I said, that can't be too good for you. I wouldn't think, anyway.
Oh, no.
Were you guys ever smokers?
Nope. My grandma and grandpa and I had an uncle that were big smokers, but never tried an old cigarette.
Yeah, same. I've just never liked the smell of it, even as a kid, where I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want, but in my lungs.
Yep.
I know my grandpa, my mom's dad used to smoke these like cigars that had, I can picture the box. It had like it was a wooden flap, and it had like guys that looked like pilgrims on it. They were called like Dutchmen or something.
Dutch.
Old Dutch.
No, it's not Old Dutch. It's Dutch.
It was a potato chip. I think it was like Dutchman or something like that. I'm not sure.
Dutch something. You're absolutely right. I remember that.
And he would smoke those. I guess he would stop. He stopped for a while, and then like he'd had them like celebratory stuff. But then eventually they were like, no, we're cutting it off. And then since then, to my knowledge, there's been almost zero smoking in the Fredrickson family.
I think you're talking about Dutch Masters.
Thank you, Dutch
Master. There
Dutch
it is.
Masters.
Very good, Dutch Masters, a cigar. But no, the odor of cigars is much better than cigarettes.
Oh yes, I'll give you that for sure.
But I smoked from the time I was 11 till I was 21, and I stopped drinking and smoking when I was 21. I smoked and drank when I was 11. Then I quit when I was 21. Then I met Catherine at 29, and she was so annoying I started drinking again. Tough guy when she's not in the room, huh?
She's probably not even in the house.
Probably not even in the. She's out walking the dog.
Yes.
That's exactly it. No, I don't know. I've had good luck with that. I've done things like smoking and drinking, and I was never a drug guy. I was never big on doing drugs. I smoked a little pot back in the day, but I was one of those guys who was able to just, at 21, I stopped drinking and smoking. Then I started drinking again at about 29. And then all of a sudden, about 12 years ago, I just went, I got the kind of tip from Catherine, like, you should stop drinking. Went, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, also doing a morning radio show, I couldn't imagine waking up hungover every day to come in and do a morning talk show. Like, that would just be awful.
They used to have a game on the KQ morning show years ago, judging by Tom's voice, how much did he have to drink last night? They had a contest. And some days, I am not exaggerating, hey, how are you guys doing this morning? It's like, holy Christ. Were you out with the boys last night? Yeah, we had a great time. Oh, yeah, I get a very deep voice if I smoke or drink. It just, I don't know, it must relax the muscles or something. I don't know what the hell it does. But I suppose we should probably take a break and blame everything that's wrong with the world on Kristyn Burtt, don't you think?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
We shall be right back. KB2 will be with us right after this.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought, we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine 5.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw and Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombernardshow.com, keyword partner. This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombernardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, got to look at the day just blowing by. Please welcome Kristyn Burtt, slave trader. Entertainment news brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. What's up, KB2?
You are just the worst, Tom.
I'm never letting you go. I'm never letting you. You're out of the mix about leaving. What does it say on your sweatshirt?
Princess Polly.
Oh, pardon me.
It's
Are you a princess?
It's an Australian brand that has made its way to the U.S. and they gave me a really nice sweatshirt and it's comfortable and warm.
All right, I'm about to say something that's very controversial because every time I say it to somebody, they go, "What are you, nuts?" Love season 4. I think season 5 of Fargo is horrendous. Have you watched it?
I have, and I enjoy it.
I thought it was terrible, or I think it's terrible.
I think we have like opposite viewing tastes.
Well, could be. Did you like season 4?
Not as much. No,
See,
season 5 was considered like the comeback for this show too.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
Which is interesting. So,
do you think it's just the fact of where you grew up and where I grew up? It's just I'm more comfortable with a certain set of people than others?
I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Well, it's kind of a country deal in the Minnesota one. First of all, they shot it in Calgary. They didn't shoot it in Minnesota.
Well, that's because they get tax incentives.
That's exactly right. They make more money doing that.
I was like, that's it. Thanks to Canada, we've moved. It's what's called runaway production. It's run away from the U.S.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I've been a huge fan for years and years, but I think Jon Hamm is very lame in that show. He's okay at best.
You do not want me to go on a rant about how much I love Jon Hamm.
I like Jon Hamm. Don't get me wrong. I've liked everything he's ever done. I thought he was terrific. I
think he's going to get an Emmy nomination.
For that?
Throwing it out there. We will find out in July if I made an accurate prediction, but I've been pretty good with some of my crystal ball predictions on this show.
Like
I've done
what?
pretty well. I predicted a lot of things that happened during the strike. I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh, we talked about this last week. Guess what? It came true.
The merger of streaming conglomerates coming together and being purchased. Yeah, you've predicted some of those. So yeah.
What predicted? It was in the newspaper, for God's sake.
Yeah, but she gets the news. She gets the newspaper before us, so we.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, we call it.
There you go. It is time for the Kristyn Burtt entertainment news. So, what's going on in your world, sister?
All right, I want to continue one thought from yesterday. I know we had a huge thing about the Beatles, but the Variety did a really interesting article where they said, "Who do you think would play some of these Beatles?"
Oh, that's interesting.
That's kind of interesting. Have you given any thought, like John Lennon?
Oh,
now remember, you'd have to do a younger John Lennon, not an older John Lennon.
Well, I don't want to. You might be setting this up for a payoff here, but I read something that it's going to be played by all one guy.
All 4 Beatles?
Yeah, I read that Noah Centineo is going to be cast to play all. And this maybe I got bamboozled because
you got bamboozled 100%.
Thank God, because
what
I was
a horrible idea that.
I was like, the kissing booth, Noah. Yes.
Yeah, but there was like a split where he's like in everything.
Beatles. I think you read The Onion or something.
No, I could have sworn I saw it on like multiple like Pop Crave report things, but okay. Sorry.
This is the best thing I've heard all day because I actually want to see that version.
Yeah.
Well, they had like backup. They were like, yeah, back in 21 when the scripts were being written, he was the first choice and blah, blah, blah. And I get, okay. All right. Sorry about that, everybody.
An interesting thing about Noah, he was like the hot thing during the pandemic because of Kissing Booth and the success of that. And he's kind of gone the way of like a Taylor Lautner. Remember when like Hunger Games was really big and everyone thought he was going to be the next big thing? Same thing with Noah. Sometimes you become that. You come too hot, too fast, and you don't jump on that next like prestige project because you got to jump from like the rom-com to the prestige project. If you don't do it in enough time, Hollywood moves on.
Is there any chance it could be Sean Lennon?
No.
That's too bad.
Would be a good thought.
I think
they're
he'd
looking
be great.
A couple that They have Aaron Taylor Johnson, which I think could be a good possibility.
Yes.
Yeah, it fits, don't you think?
Absolutely.
A lot of people will remember him from Age of Ultron if you're a Marvel fan. But he also has like a good dramatic career. I think that would work. Paul Dano was another one as John Lennon, but I almost don't see it.
Sean Lennon, I'm telling you, make the right move.
All right. How about let's just throw another one out there. Paul McCartney.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron.
Zac
Could be
Efron.
interesting. Yeah, they're kind of thinking in that same genre. Jacob Elordi was a name thrown out there. Like, you have to think of like who is kind of in that late 20s, early 30s, can still play younger when they emerge. So, and then Jamie Bell was another name. Tom Holland as Paul McCartney. I could kind of see that.
Yeah.
That almost feels like he would be like the go-to guy if he's not filming Spider-Man.
Yeah, and you really just you're trying to find actors that can pull off that classic bowl cut look that the Beatles all rocked.
And look handsome. Because at that time, that era, that was considered like the dream look. How about Timothée Chalamet for George Harrison?
I feel like he's gonna get a pretty big audition and a bump for that, just because of he's in everything right now. I feel like
he's another one, like the names out there. For Ringo Starr, they had Barry Cogan, who's been Saltburn. He's been everywhere right now.
Does he? I feel like he's got a unique facial structure. I feel like, so I don't know. I feel like you'd have to doctor that a little bit with some makeup.
But Ringo has everyone can't see it, but Ringo has kind of a unique facial structure similar to. He's kind of washed out, Barry Cogan, in that photo, but I mean, kind of a possibility. And he's kind of like that. I don't know. He's kind of someone who's a chameleon in all of his roles, so maybe he could do it. Let me just see if they named anyone else. Oh, and Daniel Radcliffe for Ringo Starr.
Ooh, I'm just trying to think of British guys. Even how about his if he wants to dye his hair, his Harry Potter counterpart, Rupert Grint.
That could be interesting.
Yeah. They both just look British, and I feel like that if you can do that and you got the accent, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be done. It could be really interesting. So we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, the movie's not coming out till 2027, but I'm assuming they will announce casting sooner versus later, because that's the type of role that you just have to morph into, do your studying. If your character is still alive in real life, like Paul McCartney, or Ringo, of course, maybe you want to work with them because this already has their stamp of approval. So I think it'll be an interesting project to follow.
Okay, who's going to play Ed Sullivan for their big breaking appearance? That's what broke them huge in America.
I know, in the U.S. Yep. That's a good question, because you would need somebody in there. Was Ed Sullivan in his 40s or 50s at the time when they broke?
That's about right, probably the 50s, I would guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah, and that would be a cameo that someone would probably want to play.
You know what I loved about that? To this day, I can sit there because I was, I think, 13 when they appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, which was the biggest show on television on Sunday nights back in those days in the 60s. And he would always come out and he'd have his arms crossed across his chest. And he'd go, "And now, for all you youngsters," for all you youngsters, is that what we're doing? But that was huge. Oh, the Beatles on Ed Sullivan was huge. And of course, then the Rolling Stones.
Right. And that's why I feel like a Rolling Stone biopic is coming on the heels of this.
Love to see it.
I would love to see that one, because I'm like, the Rolling Stones behind the scenes are a dirty bunch. So lots of women, lots of drugs, lots of I think girlfriend swapping, things like that. Did the Mick Jagger, David Bowie affair happen?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all in on the Rolling Stones.
That's why I was like, oh, come on, bring it on.
Oh, the Stones would be a hell of a... Yeah, everybody would watch that, because I don't think we know a lot of things that those boys did back in the day.
And they're still alive.
And, except for the drummer.
Yep. But all the drugs they did, still kicking.
Yep. And they're in the early 80s now? I would have maybe middle 80s.
Yeah. I mean...
How old is Mick Jagger?
I was going to say 78.
I'm saying 82.
All right, let's see. Mick Jagger is
80 years old.
Yeah.
80. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me at all.
Unbelievable. He's still like, you watch him in concert, he is still out there like dancing, moving really well. That's good.
You guys would not remember this because you weren't born yet, but I was riding in my uncle's car listening to KDWB radio, AM 630. And the guy comes on and he goes, "How you doing today? Everything going well here at KDWB? Everything's wonderful. Time to listen to a little Rollin' Uglies." He called them the Rolling Uglies. Well, that's not very nice, is it?
Meanwhile, Mick Jagger has had like every beautiful supermodel in his bed.
Exactly. It's exact. I think the guy was just jealous. That's what it was.
He was very jealous.
That's what I love about that culture so much, is looking back at all those great memories, the things that happened, the things that didn't happen. It's, well, my Catherine's father did security at Met Stadium in 1966 for their appearance. 65, I think it was, maybe. He did security. You know how they got the Beatles into and out of the stadium? Because the stadium was surrounded by massive crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Not only were all the people inside, like 40,000 people or something, but they were surrounded outside. But Dick, her father, they had the laundry carts. And each one of the Beatles had to get to the bottom of the laundry cart and be covered up with towels to get them out because they couldn't get out otherwise.
That's
Taylor
insane.
Swift does something similar to this day. She has to do something like that. It's a crazy way to live, though, if you think about that.
God, I'd hate that. Wouldn't you hate
Oh,
it?
yeah.
I would never want to be so famous that I could not go to the grocery store in my pajamas at 11 p.m. and buy Oreo cookies.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
I like that. That works for me.
I love going out looking like a hot mess.
So this is not going to be out for 3 more years. You said 27, huh?
2027. But you have to remember, too, they're creating 4 movies.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's right.
plus you have to film this. I mean, we're in 2024, so it's going to take time. And because they're releasing all of them in the same year, I'm assuming they're going to go to production by late this year for at least the first one.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to.
And who will be the first one?
That's a good question.
We don't know. John Lennon, because he was the most controversial figure of all of them, of course, got murdered. Or do you go with Ringo Starr, start off soft and work your way toward misery?
I think you start soft, because I feel like Paul and John would be the final 2, because besides complicated stories, their relationship was complicated too, especially at the end. So if you start with like Ringo and George, then you move your way into the juicier part.
And John probably would be last because he's dead, right? Well, I mean, obviously George is dead now too, but he wasn't murdered.
Right. I would think so. I mean, if I were to lay it out, obviously we're not the ones writing the screenplay or directing it, but I mean, in my brain, it kind of it would work that way.
I can understand that. It's just, and I still will never forget Howard Cosell telling the world that John Lennon was dead. It was on Monday Night Football. That's going back ways. Yeah, to hear Howard Cosell come on and announce, "Ladies and gentlemen, I've got some bad news for you. John Lennon has been murdered." It's like, oh, God. It seems surreal, to tell you the truth. You're watching a football game. You're all happy to be watching football. And then you hear one of the greatest of all time has been murdered for no reason.
Yeah. And the Steelers pick up a first down.
And the Steelers get the first down, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
No, but there are those like pop culture moments or historical moments that will always be seared in your brain. Obviously, for many people, 9/11 is one thing, but there's pop culture moments. Like I remember where I was when I heard Michael Jackson had passed away, when Prince had passed away. Those are the ones because they are larger than life. And when those moments happen, you know it's about to be wall-to-wall coverage, and you're kind of in disbelief, even though you never personally knew them.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when Michael Jackson died, I was in high school working at a Perkins here in Minnesota. And one of the servers that are my coworkers was a huge Michael Jackson fan and just openly sobbing in the middle, had to go home because she was so emotionally distraught. And I remember being like, Michael Jackson, like, he's great, but it affects people so much differently. Especially
and he's another one with a really complicated history that we're getting a Michael Jackson biopic, by the way, that his estate is doing, which will obviously totally glaze over any sort of child abuse allegations, sexual child abuse allegations. But his nephew, Jafar Jackson, who is Jermaine Jackson's son, is playing Michael. And they released the photo last week. If you haven't seen it, it is like Michael Jackson just stepped into 2024.
Really,
It's
that
unbelievable.
Good, huh? I'll watch that in a heartbeat. I was a huge Michael Jackson fan. What a talent.
I'll be curious.
What a talent. Yeah, it was so complicated.
I'll be curious to see the acting chops though, because I understand you're gonna look a lot like him, but if you can't play him, it doesn't mean anything.
Right. And, are you going to dance like him? Because nobody could dance like Michael.
No.
Nobody moved like him. And, that's the aspect of Michael. I think people just loved watching him perform because he was incredible.
Yeah. And then also, do you get a different person to play white Michael? Do you do like a lot, because obviously Michael Jackson, there's two different versions of him. Do you cover him head to toe in white makeup? Are we gonna that's what I want to know as well. Because
I think Jafar's playing him all the way through, so makeup will have to do at that point. Yeah. I mean, and it's interesting if you look at his Off the Wall album cover and then look at his Thriller album cover, it's two different Michaels in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
At vitiligo. Well, he did. He had a disease.
He did have vitiligo. That
did
is
he
true.
Actually?
He did.
I always thought it was the.
It's why he wore gloves too. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did have vitiligo. But his features changed though too. I mean, his nose. Nose changed. His cheekbones changed, and I think, to me, to see the progression when you look at the album covers, it is sad because there were so many doctors besides the ones prescribing him prescription drugs. There were too many cosmetic surgeons saying yes when he should have been stopped a long time before.
Yep.
People are calling, telling me it's really great that we're into the third show of the week, and this is the first time you hadn't gotten mad at me. So that's good.
I don't get mad at you. I like to debate you.
You do. There's no doubt about that. And I kind of like debating too. That you figured that out a long, long time ago.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't get mad over it. I'm like, but I will challenge you.
Indeed. No question. Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So what do you got planned today?
Today, for work, I got a lot going on. I'm prepping. I've got a Poor Things event tomorrow. If you haven't have you guys seen Poor Things, the movie? I know that Tim has talked about it and just talked about how weird and whimsical the movie is. But Emma Stone's working her way possibly to an Oscar for this role. So I'm prepping for that. And then So You Think You Can Dance is coming up in a couple of weeks. So I'm prepping for an interview with Judge Allison Holker.
So You Think You Can Dance is still a thing? I thought
it's still a thing.
Those shows never die. Those shows never die.
They never die because they're cheap to actually film, but they're filming it in Atlanta this year, so it'll be a little bit more of the Atlanta dance scene. And they're not doing do a solo, do a duet. They're doing challenges for dancers, so like what it's like to dance at the Super Bowl halftime show, what it's like to dance on Broadway, what it's like to do a music video. So I think this will be a little bit, if it works, it'll be a little bit more real world to what commercial dancers actually do. And people that don't know, Allison Holker was married to Twitch, Stephen Boss, who passed away in 2022. She's taking on his judging seat on the show. So kind of emotional there.
Yeah. Who'd have ever thought a guy named Twitch would die young?
He died by suicide.
Oh, God.
It was
Twitch,
really sad.
Really?
He did.
Terrible.
He did. He was a hip hop dancer and then went on to be a DJ on Ellen DeGeneres' show for probably about the last 7 or 8 years that her daytime show ran. They were neighbors of mine, and he's really missed. I will tell you that.
Boy, those people have disappeared since then. Don't you think?
Who, Ellen?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ellen lives up in Montecito, so she's never lived a really big Hollywood life. So she's about 90 minutes north of Los Angeles, and she is a big real estate flipper. And I think that's where she really spends her time and her money.
There you go. Does everybody still hate her?
Another one with very complicated. People that are in her inner circle absolutely adore her. People that worked for her did not love her.
Not at all. I knew some people that worked for her said she was horrible to work for.
And that was known, by the way, that came to light, I think in 2020, like during the pandemic, maybe 2021. Yeah. But I will say that this was well known in the industry. This was kind of like a Harvey Weinstein open secret. We knew about it for years.
All right. It's time for me to get the hell out of your way.
Sounds good. I got to go type. I got to do some articles. I got work to do.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Thanks a lot. Kristyn Burtt, ladies and gentlemen. Tevin, AJ, we will talk to you tomorrow.